And it looks like we are live. Welcome to the second Wooden Cubes Iron Soldiers video webcast podcast with myself, Joel Eddy, and Lance Meister. And it
Hello,
looks like
everyone.
Lance has a special guest.
Oh yeah, Rylan, come back quick and say hi before you go to bed. Poke your head in. Yeah, look up here. Look at this. Say hello to everybody. All right, good night.
Hey, Ron.
Talk to you later. All right.
There we go. How you doing there, my friend?
I'm doing well. I love you, honey. Yeah, she's quite lovable. I'm doing well, man. I mean, I've been really, really busy lately. That's pretty much been the story of my life. Just work and trying to get videos done and other random stuff going on. I've started taking part in like my local gaming store. I'm doing a lot more stuff with them, events and whatever. And so and the guy that runs the place is really cool, and he gives me, when I help out and stuff, he's always giving me discounts in games. So it's just the least I can do for him. So yeah, so I just been doing a lot of gaming related stuff, which has been really awesome lately. So it's really kind of taken all of my hobby time, instead of like splitting it up into all the other hobbies I have, like playing video games and what have you. But I was actually going to talk about that later, so I'm getting ahead of myself. So
Good. So how often do you go down to the store there?
I try to get there almost every weekend because he's always got an event going on. Like this weekend, he's having like superhero trivia, so like I help out with that. There's a buddy of mine that runs it, and
Cool.
and he wants me to come and help, and so they get a bunch of people in a room, they ask a bunch of questions, trivia questions about, I think this weekend is going to be superhero movie trivia. And the questions aren't going to be about the classic ones. They're going to be about the really bad ones, like the really bad, like Captain America movie from the 1980s and stuff like that. So yeah, it should be interesting. But it's just a way to spend the evening, and it's pretty fun. And my daughter really likes hanging out down there and playing games, so it's a way to have a good time.
Cool. That's good.
So if you're ever in Fargo, Moorhead, Paradox Comics and Cards. That's I never really thought I'd be a local gaming store guy, because whenever I'd go in there to buy anything, it always seemed like it was just a bunch of magic rugrats running around. And
right.
but Richard Early, the guy who owns the place, he's one of two blind hobby like gaming store owners. He's like got like he's almost completely 100% blind. He's got like something like 2800 vision in one eye, and so he has a cane, and and he can barely see, but he just runs this gaming store. And there's like two of them in the America, I guess, the blind hobby gaming store people. So, which is really cool, because and I'm gonna break up this really quick. The fact that the people that run 64-ounce games, if you've ever heard of them, the guy that runs that, whose name is Rich as well, whose wife actually deals with visually disabled people. They're actually working on a Kickstarter right now, I guess, about people of that, and like trying to make it so that we can bridge the gap for board games to people that are visually impaired. Because can you imagine trying to play any board game without being able to see?
Oh yeah, I mean, no.
I mean, yeah, there'd be no way. But they're coming up with ways to like they sent me these sleeves for Love Letter that actually have Braille on them, and so like somebody can actually just like play. They'd be able to play Love Letter just by if you told them what a guard did, they could sit there. And so they're going to have a Kickstarter coming up to promote all these different visually impaired devices to help people enjoy board games that can't see.
Awesome.
And so I'm going to do a video with Rich, actually, and we're going to talk about gaming, and he's going to kind of talk about his life, because he's lived a pretty amazing life for a guy. He plays D&D because he can play that. He has an app for his tablet that he can actually like roll the dice and he can read it, because of the way it blows it up.
Right.
And that's still mostly imagination and conversation. But he really wants to, he'd love to play board games. He just can't. It's one of those things that kind of stinks. So.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, I saw that. I don't know where I saw it. Was on Board Game Geek or something, or maybe Twitter. And I saw like the card sleeve. That's just a ingenious idea. It sounds awesome, because I wake up sometimes in a nightmare thinking I have like no sight or no hands or something else. I mean, I've actually had that recurring thing because at different times in my life I've been a painter and a guitar player and different things. So
Oh, a guitar player, you say?
yeah, I shouldn't have said anything there, but
Hmm.
but yeah, you know, it's like for some reason in my life it's been a recurring nightmare. It's like you know, no hands, no eyes. Plenty of people survive and get along just fine, but definitely you'd have to. Board gaming would be tough.
Oh, I can't even imagine. And like the idea, I mean, my friends and I already have plans that when we retire and we go live in a community someplace warm, we all have to go to the same place because we talk about we want to be able to play D&D when we're 70 years old, and and still get together instead of playing shuffleboard and bridge and what have you. We'll be cracking open our D&D 10th edition books or whatever it will be at that point, and playing.
And D&D and Crokinole.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, my cat wanted to say hi. Anyway.
Oh, does he? Or she?
She, and now she's gone. Ugh.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Goodbye. But like, what about you, man? I mean, like, what have you been playing?
Well, you mentioned, yeah, you were talking about your friendly local game store there, and we're pretty excited around here. We have a chain called Uncle's Games. They're in Seattle, and then there's two in Spokane, which I live about 20 minutes away from. And they're doing the tabletop day stuff. And so last year we had a really big turnout. It was like over 50 people. And this year's probably going to be even more. It might even be too many.
Oh, I know. The tabletop day at the Paradox is going to be huge.
Awesome.
He had like 120 last time, and
Holy
now,
cow.
yeah. So he's expecting that or better. So.
Wow. Yeah, and I was just in there because the reprint for Betrayal came out.
You talking about Betrayal on House on the Hill?
Yeah. You don't like it?
Did you ever watch my video review?
Oh, probably. It must be an old one. I don't think I've just seen it.
I talked about I had I remember when like the original copy was impossible to find.
Yeah.
And
I've always missed the window. I've played it, but I was like, oh, I gotta have it because I want to try it with the family. But sorry, go ahead.
Well, okay, no. So the really really old school one or whatever.
Yeah.
I found a copy. This was I thought it was pretty ingenious of me. I found a copy for sale at a Australian game store, online game store, and I contacted them. And I asked them how much it would cost to have that one sent to me and a copy of the old school. What's the game? Fantasy Flight did a reprint of it. The with the tower in the middle and the fighting with the miniatures of the little people. I can't even think of it. There's a monolith or something in the middle, and like the old school ones had the like glow in the dark figures when the black light would hit them.
Oh, Nexus Ops?
Nexus Ops, there you go.
Yeah.
And so I ordered that and a copy of Nexus Ops, and I figured they'd charge me an arm and a leg for shipping, but they shipped it to me for free. Like I was like from Australia, and I was like, no way. And sure enough, like a month later, like these two games, I paid full MSRP for it, but it was like $90, and I got these two out of print games, and I was all excited. But then I never played my Betrayal game because I kept on thinking, oh, it's going to be worth big time money. I should sell this for $200 or something. I kept on waiting, and then of course like the sequel came out, and I picked up a copy, and I just was very nonplussed by it. And so I remember my title for the video was "I was betrayed by the hype," and
I remember that now.
Yeah,
I remember that review now. I remember that title anyway.
it's just not a good game, but I hate the fact that the first half of the game you're running around with no purpose whatsoever, and so like.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Well, maybe, but I like the idea of me actually so you get yourself set up in the game to be able to do something, and then you find out what your haunt is, and then you find out then that what you prepared yourself for doesn't help at all for what just happened. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, it was interesting, and it was a really novel idea, but I think a lot of people, I don't know, people have told me many times over, well, you just expected the game to be something else, and I was like, yes, I expected it to be fun, but I digress. A lot
Yeah,
of
I
people
get it.
love it. A lot of people love it, and so good for them. So
Yeah, my group, I think for the most part don't like it. I know a couple people really hate it in the group. But like I said, I got it for trying out with the family and see how we get into it. I think my son will enjoy it and
I
stuff like
think
that.
my daughter would probably like it too. That's a game that I might end up picking up again because I think I either traded it or sold it or something. But that's a
Yeah,
game I'll probably end up picking up again because my daughter will probably really enjoy it.
yeah. The trick is what if your daughter is the traitor?
Well, I guess
I
there's
mean,
that.
that's the trick. That's the trick I'm trying to figure out if um I'll probably play it like once or twice, with my son and be like, okay, well, I'll be the traitor. We'll swap roles or whatever, and then once he gets the hang of it, then he'll be able to play it because
Well,
he's
you
yeah.
could game it. You could game it in some way. You could just like go through it yourself and pick haunts that don't have a traitor, where it's just like
Oh, that's true.
and you could just pick something like there's that one where like the house gets picked up by the giant bird or whatever, and you got to
Right.
jump out with parachutes, and everybody
Yeah.
races to go find a parachute and jump out to save themselves.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
mean, you could do that one. That one's easy enough, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Actually, I think I'll do that. That's a great idea.
But
Yeah.
I say so. Okay, a couple things quick. How did you get a copy of? Did you back Galaxy Defenders on Kickstarter?
No, no, they sent me a review copy.
Okay, well you suck because I didn't get one, so that's
Well,
fine.
I had a chance to meet briefly Roberto. He works for Ares Games. He's one of the designers for War of the Ring, and I met him at Gen Con and did a couple of videos there at their booth for Sales of Glory, which looks awesome, by the way.
Now,
And then
has that been like going to come out for 1,000 years, or I mean, I
well,
get them.
it's Kickstarter guys have got it, and I've seen it show up at another game store, which I don't really go to. I just visit sometimes, and they've got stuff there. And they have this really cool. I didn't know they were going to have this. They have this really cool mat. It's like a deep blue with it's like an ocean. I was like, oh. So, and I think most or all the Kickstarter folks have gotten their copy, and then they're going to release like a um, more distribution release or whatever, like in next month, I think. So yeah.
So I haven't because I'm a horrible person. I haven't watched your video on Galaxy Defenders. I just saw that you had it and I cursed you. And
You did.
but what's your take on it? Just give me a 2-sentence blurb.
Okay. Well, I've been asked by a few people to compare Galaxy Defenders to Myth, and yeah, so that's to me. I don't know which one I like better, and I really like them both. So there's it's kind of my 2 sentence thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
If Myth had a like version 2 rulebook,
Yeah.
would you
Yeah.
where would you side?
Maybe I would lean towards Myth. I think at that point,
Yeah.
because it's kind of rough around the edges. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you played it.
Oh, I know, and I totally butchered the rules, but I found it fun. I had a blast playing it.
Yeah.
But the rules are, I mean, dense. I guess is a nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
I mean, the game looks beautiful.
Yeah.
But the thing is, okay, but it sounds to me that Galaxy Defenders has like a structured story set of like this is where you go and this is what you do and this is your next thing and whatever. And so my thought is, and this is what pretty much everybody's thought is probably, is that Galaxy Defenders, well, one, the theme is obviously different, but
yeah.
Galaxy Defenders, you're going to be able to play it and it's going to tell you what to do, kind of a la Descent, which, I love Descent 2nd Edition, but theoretically, Myth is going to have more of an open-ended lifespan on your shelf due to the fact that you can play pretty much anything you want with it.
Right.
But I think a lot of people aren't going to like the non-structured Myth gameplay.
Yeah.
I get that feeling.
I think you're right. I think it's going to take a special kind of. I don't know. I'd say I still haven't thought about it, that much because I want to play them both a little bit more before I really get too deep. But we're talking off the top of our head. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying because I think it takes somebody that is more kind of on the thematic side and more in kind of the RPG kind of let's adventure and see what happens and doesn't really need super amounts of structure, they'll be able to get into Myth a lot easier. But if somebody's like more of a board gamer, like maybe somebody that likes Euros and the occasional Ameritrash game,
Yeah.
they're going to be pretty frustrated with Myth, I think.
No.
But yeah.
How are the miniatures in Galaxy Defenders?
Oh, they're really nice. I mean, Myth's a little bit better for sure. Because they're a little bit more beefy, and I think the resolution. I'm not a miniature guy, but I think the resolution's a little bit higher on there. But I really like the Galaxy Defenders one. There's a couple of nice little things that they've done. Like there's these little I don't know, like scratches, but they look nice. So you can get, if you play with a facing rule, which is optional, it makes it really easy to figure that out. And then it has a cool little thing where they'll have the same type of guy, but there's like a green one and a blue one. And the blue ones are usually like the tougher version and stuff like that. So it makes it really easy to distinguish the types, where like in Myth, like you have like a ranged
those insectoids
versus like the melee one. I'm like, oh, they're the same. I didn't even look.
you have to like look really. I mean, it's obvious once you know, but when you don't know, just at first glance, you're not going to be able to tell. Yeah. And definitely when I finally paint those, I'm definitely going to paint them different colors, just so they stand out. But
But I really like Galaxy Defenders because I think even though it's not like super open-ended, the way that they structure the campaign through all the different quests, it's pretty cool because you can kind of like have people come and go in the campaign. You don't always need the same people. In it, like certain ways that you can complete a mission, there's not like A, you fail, B, you succeed. There's like different degrees, and then you can go to different quests and kind of weave in throughout the book. So that's kind of cool. Like, if we're playing and then Billy comes over, like, oh, you didn't play with us the last 3 times. Well, screw it, just roll up a guy and you can join in, and he can disappear on the next one. And if you lose your guy, you can roll up a new guy. And
so you actually roll up a character for Galaxy Defenders?
Well, no, I mean you get the base. You don't roll up. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not like that.
I was like, really? I was all excited there.
It's awesome. They have an app that's for iPad and Android. It's only for tablets, not for phones. And you can go in there and like you can track all your campaign stuff. So like during the game, you'll get if you played XCOM.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's exactly like XCOM because you get like alien artifacts and stuff, and then you assemble them and send them back to your headquarters, and then you can either like randomly draw a new alien weapon or a new improved weapon, and then you just can track all the stuff you find and then stick it in headquarters, so before a mission you can change your loadout or whatever. Then you get like each character is like a hex thingy, like in HeroScape, right? You seen those things?
Oh,
and
yeah.
You can get other hexes and then add them, so you have like a nice, good visual representation of your guy. Like you got a new skill, you just give them another hex and like attach it. Well, in the app, you go in and then you have the same visual thing, so you can just drag skills and stuff and then save it. And so you open up the app, next time you play, you got all your characters, you just look at it and then set them up and then go. It's pretty cool.
Oh, it's getting into shut up and take my money area for me.
Well. It's fun.
Yeah.
I think the theme of it, just to kind of wrap up my thoughts, I like the theme in Galaxy Defenders. So that's kind of the thing that's really makes it tough, because Myth is like really interesting. It's really new, but like I really like XCOM, that theme,
Did you play the original when it was out? Way back
in
the
day?
Video?
No, I don't think so. I remember it, but I don't think I played it.
I played that on my old. I think it was for PlayStation. I think it was PlayStation, but I played that on my old.
I think I might. I don't know. There's a few games I played that were like tactical. Sorry, go.
No,
I don't think I played that one though. There was a few like that.
I played that one like a long time ago. I mean, I still have it. I could probably go dig it out if I got up. And then of course when the new XCOM came out, that was pretty intense and pretty amazing. Yeah. So. That was one of the that was like the game of the year territory for me. I mean, lots of video games actually have been really good. The last Grand Theft Auto was amazing. If you're a Grand Theft Auto guy.
Yeah, I don't have that in the house because I got a 13-year-old. So.
It's not that bad. It's just
Yeah, but there's a degree in some of that stuff that
Well, I mean,
he's going to explore. He's going to find every deep, dark nook and cranny. I'm sure of it.
Well, I mean, I can see what you're saying, but
Yeah.
my wonderful wife, bought me a PlayStation 4 for Christmas, and the Assassin's Creed, the pirate one, that's probably one of the best games I've ever played, and it was
Really?
just it was absolutely amazing. There was something just so much fun about just I'm just gonna go pilot my ship around and blow up ships for a while and loot them and take their gold, and then just going around and doing all the world was just huge. You can do almost anything, but. So anyway, I don't even have the thing up. Are people asking us questions, or are they just like saying we're
They
boring
are.
at this
Apparently,
point?
I broke something. Let's see if I catch up here. They weren't seeing you there for a little bit.
Well,
There's no video from Lance. I think I fixed it, though.
what'd you do?
There it is. Okay. So it's working.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I can't see it anyway. I didn't pull it up. I'm lazy. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. What's a question? Has anybody asked?
Yeah, a few questions here. Let's see. Chris CT150, I think, from Board Game Geek.
Awesome name.
Yeah. Thoughts on micro games? I think Love Letter is a good game in spite of a few components. It seems like designers, publishers are trying to sell micro games because of the fewer components. So yeah, I don't know. I think Vassal, he did a recent thing on it on Monday. I watched. I think he's pretty much right. I think they just use it for marketing. But because we've had like micro games forever, like no thanks. I mean, that's a micro game in my opinion.
Well, and
or
anything
like whatever else.
that's just a deck of cards, I mean,
Yeah.
Zombie Dice is a micro game. I mean, you can carry that around,
Yeah.
And I mean, like, but now I think it's one of those things where, I mean, I'm not going to say that people it's a money grab or anything like that, but I mean, if you can come up with a good idea that has like a
if
decent,
the game's good.
Yeah, and it costs $15. I mean, look how many gajillion copies of Love Letter did AEG sell?
Yeah.
And now they've rethemed it like 2 or 3 times at this point, and good for them. Love Letter's a great game. I mean, but what is the deal? And now I'm going to get off on a segue like I always do. What is the deal now? Everybody's got to have a deduction secret roll game. It seems like. No, I mean, I'm serious. Like, everybody's designing one. And either everybody started designing them, like, after, like Love Letter kind of took off and Resistance kind of took off, or everybody had these designs, like, sitting in their garage, so to speak, and as soon as, like, everybody got excited about them, they all ran out and started coming up with the ideas for them.
I think the former. I think Love Letter took off, and then people were like, "Oh, look at this! I'm going to cash in on that."
Yeah.
But I think the guy Keith Collins there on Twitter, he said that if you want to really impress me, make a micro game that's a deck builder. And I was like, exactly. But as part of that is with the deduction. It's like if you're going to have a micro game, what mechanic can you use to have a good game with so many little components? So it's like, okay, deduction, negotiation, something that doesn't really require pieces, just mostly people.
I'll say this. I played One Night Ultimate Werewolf at the Con of the North last month.
I still want to play that. I don't really like Werewolf, but I've heard that's good.
Well, see, Werewolf, I got to do a review of it. We used to, when I used to have my little convention, we used to play Werewolf. Everybody, we used to play, and there was like 15, 20 people. And eventually people got tired of it, and we stopped doing it. I mean, it was fun for a while, but after a while, it's just kind of like, it's just a bunch of people yelling at each other. And I don't know, it feels, when you play a One Night Werewolf, it feels a little, it almost feels forced in a way, because the way it works, if you haven't heard, is each person gets a roll, and it's like this piece of cardboard, and which is nice, it isn't a card, and they look at their roll, and they put it down, they put it in the middle of the table, and then depending on, and this is actually kind of cool, because it doesn't, it has a has no moderator, so there's actually a free app you can download that actually narrates what you're supposed to do. You just plug in who's in, and you hit play, and you just put the phone in the middle of the table, and then it says, werewolves, open your eyes, werewolves, close your eyes, or whatever. Yeah. And so they sit there and they do their thing. And so what happens is that multiple people can actually move the little pieces of cardboard around, and then after everybody opens their eyes, you take your piece of cardboard back, and almost nobody gets to re-look at it. They don't get to look. So when you went to sleep, you were a villager, but when you woke up, now you're the seer, or now you're the werewolf or whatever, and so you don't know, and so there's that added level of whatever, and then so people can start like saying, it's like, well, I know I was a villager beforehand, and then that tells somebody to say, well, I know I switched you, and this, that, and the other thing. It's fun. I mean, it's a game that you play like 2 or 3 times in a row, and then you put it away, and then like you come back to it in a couple of weeks because you want it to be fresh, that kind of thing. But that's kind of like the same thing. I know. There's a group of people at the game store we go to during gaming nights. They sit down and they play Resistance Avalon from the moment game night starts till the moment it ends, and that's the only game they play. Yeah. And they just sit in the back and they scream and yell at each other for 7 hours, and which great, they enjoy it, but man, I couldn't do that. That would not be my cup of tea.
Yeah, I've played that several times. It does get kind of old after a bit, where it's like, I don't know. You just kind of like, all right, do we seriously have to go back and rededuce everything again? And it's like, this game's supposed to take 20 to 30 minutes, and then we'll be like pushing an hour, and then I'm like,
well, and that's throw the cards up. It's like, well, fine, I'm the spy. Just whatever.
I'm taking us down anyway. Screw it. I'm not even a spy. I'm crashing the ship.
I'm gonna go play Kingsburg. See you later.
Yeah.
Good stuff. But no. I was going to ask you. I know you gave Madeira glowing remarks as well. But is that like the most layered upon layered game I've played? And like that game is a mind number, and in such a wonderful way too.
Yeah, I like it. It's to me it was like rich with theme. I don't know. That was the thing that struck me most about it, was all the little things you could do like make sense, and because you had like a kind of a map and territory that you were controlling with your workers and sending your ships off to trade and go to the market and all that stuff, and the different guilds. It was just really, I don't know. To me, it was very themey, even though it was like a huge brain-burning Euro. So that's why I really liked it a lot.
Well, I don't even think it was really so much themey in my point, but I mean, there's like, usually when I talk about a game like a Euro, it's like, okay, this is Stone Age. We're rolling dice and collecting resources. This could just as easily be about aliens and spaceships or whatever. But like with Madeira, you couldn't really say that because of the fact that there was all that chunky stuff that like it was made out of. The thing about that game was it was just like, it seemed like you never really were able to ever have an easy turn. It was never like, I'm gonna put my guy there. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna take this. It's a no-brainer. I'm gonna do this. Every single decision was like, dang it.
Yeah.
That was. I mean, how do you design a game like that? That's what I was so impressed by more than anything with that one.
Yeah, the thing that people seem to screw up on, especially the first time you play, is the whole thing when you activate I can't remember what they're called, the building underneath. You put your thing, and then they're like, "Oh, I need to have a worker in the area to do this." Crap.
Yes.
Oh, here's a bunch of pirates.
Yeah. that's just it. And then now you have to figure out how you can get rid of those pirates. And I mentioned this in my review. I love the fact that there was no starvation strategy. You couldn't just go into it and say, screw it, I'm just going to take a bunch of pirates, I don't care, I'm just going to get as many points as I possibly can. It's like, well, no, because you can't max out on your negative points, so you're dooming yourself to a big time loss that way. So I don't know. I was greatly impressed with that game. It's such a. I remember it took me like 45 minutes to try to teach the game, and I still got things wrong. So
Oh yeah. The
But
first
that's
time I
just
played it, we learned it from the rule book. Like I literally opened the rule book and started reading, and that's how we played it. It took like an hour,
Oh
and
my
then
God.
and then we were like 2 turns in, and it was at a convention thing, and it was three of us, and this is a guy was there and this gal was there, and then we were like 2 turns in, and she's like, yeah, this game is crazy. She's like, I'm not even a gamer at all. And I'm like, what do you? I said, what do you mean? She's like, I don't play board games like ever. I'm here with my husband and all this stuff. And she was like doing good. I mean, she was holding her own. And I'm like, really? I'm like, you play like Ticket to Ride or anything? She's like, no, I don't play any at all. I'm like, really? I was like, because I find this game extremely difficult. And I play games like every day almost.
Yeah,
And she
I had
was,
that.
this
That's
is
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, I had that same thing happen at Con of the North. We were getting ready. We were setting up to play Caverna, and we had 6 players, which I was already like, oh God, 6 players. And this lady walked by and she said, "What are you playing?" And we said, "We're going to play Caverna." And then she was like, "Oh, is it anything like Agricola?" And I was like, "Well, I guess it's by the same guy." And she's like, "Yeah, it looks kind of like it." And then one of the guys said, "Did you want to play?" And she was like, "Oh, yeah, sure." She sits down and plays.
Mhm.
And 4.5 hours later, when the game is over, we were like, "Well, thanks a lot for playing." And she was just like, "Oh no, thanks a lot for having me." And I was like, "Oh, do you play a lot of board games?" She's like, "No, my husband is a vendor here.
Hmm.
I hardly play anything. I just thought it looked neat." And I was just like, "Oh,
Yeah,
well, nice way to jump into the board game hobby there. A
yeah.
7-player game of Caverna."
That's the thing. I think people give he's just like a unspoken, quiet prejudice that gamers have against people. They're like, oh, this is too hard for you, you know. When in
Yeah,
actual fact, it just really depends on the person and how much interest they have coming into the session, right? I mean, if they're into it, they'll get it. You know, they won't struggle with it. You know.
yeah, and that's the biggest, like with my dad. I tried to get him to play some of these games with me, and some of them he will, just because like the idea of the game is interesting to him. But
Right.
if the theme isn't grabbing him, he's just like, "Oh, I don't care. I'll just go here." It's
Yeah.
just, just like,
Yeah.
but that's not what you need to do. You need to get the stone, Dad. Just like,
Yeah.
what does it matter? Ah.
He's
Yeah,
resigned.
yeah. But no, I mean, yeah. So that is weird. That is a good point. It's just like we are kind of elitist in our hobby. I think when we seem to get hives when we walk by the board games in the aisle at Target or whatever, and you look over there and you see people
Yeah.
picking stuff out, and you're just like, oh, enjoy your
Well,
Candyland.
yeah. Well, there's some I'll admit I'll be like, what? No, put it back. Put it back. Here's a better one. You know. But
Yes. Well, I got that way when I saw somebody come in and ask to buy a copy of Dominion once, and I was like, "Oh, there's so many better games than Dominion." And I was just like, "Don't buy that." It's like, "Oh, I heard this was really good."
that's a good
But
one though. I don't
nah.
know. I know you don't like
The first like 5 games. Imagine going back and like capturing the absolute glee you had like the
it.
first like 3 times you played Dominion, the base set.
Right. Right.
Like when you were just flipping the cards and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Oh, I can
Mhm.
chain that to this. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that'd
Village.
be great.
Village. Village. Smith. Village. Smith. Village. Smith.
Yeah, look at this. Look at all this stuff. I don't have any money to buy anything.
Yeah. Yeah. You do like 3 villages and 4 Smith. Oh, 2 coins.
That didn't work at all. Dang it.
Oh, that's like a flashback.
I know. It's just crazy.
That's
Um,
funny.
no. What was I gonna ask you? Oh, what? So this Marvel Master Dice. I know. I saw you said you were like you're gonna buy into it heavy.
I'm all in. I'm
I'm
all
all
in.
in too. I'm all in
Yeah.
too. I think. I just.
You know what I think about Couriers, right?
Well,
I
yeah.
think
I mean, you
I
hate
think
it.
it looks. Oh yeah, it's a horrible game.
Then
Anyway,
you're not playing it with the right rules. We've gone over this before.
I know the rules have
Play
been updated. I still haven't played it with the new rules.
play it with the tournament rules, and you will actually enjoy the game.
Okay, we'll see. Maybe on tabletop day somebody will bring it because I'm pretty sure nobody in my gaming group owns it.
Well, there you go. But
yeah.
no, I mean, like first of all, Rodney and Tom are lucky jerks that actually have a copy.
Yes.
So yeah,
Both of
so
you. and I didn't
Yes,
even watch.
we hate them.
No.
And yeah. So I already told like it's sold out everywhere. You can't buy it online anywhere right now. I think.
I got it from Fun Again. I had some stored up points or whatever they have there, and got a pretty good deal with all that. So.
Oh well, I got my local game store guy. Like he's gonna get me a starter set, and he's gonna get me 2 boxes of boosters. Um, so I've got that
Score.
guaranteed. Yeah. So
Score.
I'll be able. We should do videos of opening up our boosters. Like so,
Each pack.
each pack slowly but surely, it'll and like, completely live, or whatever, or semi-live. So if you do get one of the ultra rares or whatever, I applaud them for their idea. I mean, I think it'll be really cool, and I think it'll be a lot of fun to play. This is coming from a guy who played a ton of HeroClix back in the day, and I really enjoyed playing HeroClix. Oh yeah, I totally dug playing HeroClix, and part of it was the glee of buying the boxes and seeing what you got and all that stuff, and it was a lot of fun. But this seems like a much cheaper model to do something that's collectible and still kind of have that weird, like, ooh, look what I got kind of glee when you get something. And
yeah. See, I come at yeah, you said HeroClix. Sorry, I was having a brain fart. I was thinking what was the other clicks they used to have, like Mage Knight and all that.
There was Mage Knight, and yeah.
But I used to play Versus, the card game, which was like the card game version of this, like Magic, but it was all superheroes, and it had Marvel and DC. Honestly, that's like the main thing. That gets me, because if you can throw Marvel and DC, like imagine if Upper Deck had the DC license to throw into Legendary, that would be awesome. I mean, you'd have Batman and Wolverine and whatever fighting, Thanos or Magneto or Darkseid or whatever. That's just the best thing. But I do think the game actually looks pretty good because it's, the battling is totally different. The whole mechanic of energy to buy dice, and that's all the same, but the whole battling and blocking and some of the different special effects, that's totally changed. So I think that's where it probably will end up being, at least for me, better than Couriers.
Well, and the fact that you can play a game really quick, I mean, and be done.
Yeah.
It's like the little. I remember some of our HeroClix battles would take hours, back in the day. But just because you'd play like with a ton of points, like big giant 10-on-10 battles and what have you.
Sure.
But I mean, you and I are both comic book groupies, so
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it definitely hits on all cylinders. So good for them, good for WizKids, and they have DC licensed stuff, so I don't see why they couldn't.
Oh, it's been confirmed as far as I know.
That they are actually going to have both DC and Marvel?
Yeah, they're going to do
you can have them fight each other and stuff?
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
Well, I saw that WizKids also announced today that they're going to have, under the same model of the X-Wing games and stuff like that, they're going to have, what is it, the Dragon game? Like dragons fighting?
But it's not Dragonlance. Sucks.
Well, that's when I saw it. I was like, oh, that'll be awesome. We can have, like, I was thinking of all my old Dragonlance novels and all this, and nope, not that.
It's the new. It ties into the new D&D stuff that's coming out, the Neverwinter Dragon storyline or something. Well, I still check it out, because from what I've heard, I just never have gotten around to trying Attack Wing, but I guess it's better than X-Wing as far as mechanical, and gameplay wise. The models obviously aren't, but
yeah.
But we'll see how these look, and maybe if it's at that same level as Attack Wing, I really need to try that.
Yeah,
anyway,
I have. Yeah, I was going to say that because I have all kinds of people that are all bought into X-Wing, and they play it all the time and they love it. They do it. They have tournaments and they go to all these things. But I don't know of anybody that plays Star Trek Attack Wing or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know anybody either.
I just don't know. I mean, it must be selling. I mean, it isn't like they've. There's got to be somebody out there buying it, right?
I'm sure. I mean, maybe this is why they bought. They are applying that license and the mechanic to D&D because maybe it's not selling that well. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's selling fine because you see that Do they have that in Target? I know I see it. I've seen it in Barnes and Noble, both of them, X-wing and Attack-wing.
I've seen X-Wing at Barnes and Noble. I have not seen the other one though. But then again,
I've
I've
seen
been to
Attack-wing there.
Barnes and Noble forever, so.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think that's going to be a Gen Con release, so I'm sure I'll pick something up there or whatever. But we'll see.
Isn't it weird that Gen Con is only like 3-4 months away? It seems like it was just like yesterday that I was in Indianapolis.
5 months, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't seem like it seems like it was just like yesterday, honestly. I mean, it was
it does.
We were rooming together.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that should be awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely.
And the rumblings are starting already.
What's that? What rumblings?
Like rumblings, release games for Gen Con releases and what have you. So
yeah, Stronghold's coming out with like 4 or 5 or maybe even 10 Space Cadets games. So
the new one, the away team or whatever. Good for me. I actually play tested that when it was by a totally different name. He sent me a copy and he had me run through the scenarios, and then I filled out this giant questionnaire about what I thought was good and what I thought was bad and what have you, and I remember enjoying it a great deal. So I don't know how much has changed since then, but he better list me in the playtester group. I'll say that much. I better see my name in there. He's like on vacation. Steven is. Did you see that? He's posted on Facebook. He's like in Cabo or something like that.
Oh no.
Yeah, he showed pictures. He posted pictures of him watching giant humpback whales breach in front of his boat or something like that. So.
Gore.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, totally. That's that survive money, baby.
Survive money. Well, okay. Let's think of it this way. So. I mean, I love Steven. I mean, I love Stronghold games. He's had a lot of really good games, but man, there's a couple of them that are kind of clunkers out there. That
sure.
But that's to be expected with any publishing situation. But do you think Survive is his number one?
The number one seller? Good question. Probably. It's got to be, because I mean, it's got to be Survive. But I think Space Cadets or Space Cadets Dice Tool maybe is on the way up, because he posted something a while ago somewhere. I don't remember where it was. I was reading something. Oh yeah, I was on some thread on this other game that they're the Battlestar Galactica Express. BSG Express. They actually are publishing that, but it's not Battlestar Galactica. Obviously, it's called not New Moon. I always forget. Dark Moon. Dark Moon? New Moon or Dark Moon? I can never remember the name. I think it's Dark Moon. Anyway, they're publishing that. I was reading a thread in there, and then somebody was being a jackwagon on Board Game Geek, and
no way.
Yeah, and giving him guff for something, and he was posting. He made some comment, I think, about what his top selling games were or something, and I think Space Cadets or Space Cadets Dice Tool was his number one, but I don't know if they had achieved Survive level yet.
What's Dark Moon gonna be? What's the theme of it gonna be?
Well, I think it's it's been a while since I read it, but it's basically the exact same game as BSG Express, which is cool because that's like one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
Let's see. Welcome to Titan, the Dark Moon of Saturn. As a member of PC Core mining outfit X9, you'll receive 10-hour shifts, 3 squares a day, a mind-numbing boredom, blah, 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 blah. And so basically I think there's a trader or traders in the midst of, this moon. And, it's basically the same idea with the same mechanics and stuff. I know they made some slight changes to the mechanics, and the game's going to play out actually a little bit longer, which is a good thing because you could actually play. Well, it's not necessarily a good thing for me, but the main thing that people I've played it with have a problem with is you can actually finish a game in like half hour or so. once you kind of know what you're doing. But I really like that because to me, it's like playing the Resistance without the nonstop screaming and yelling at each other, but you still have the screaming and yelling at each other. But you actually have like a game with some like levers to pull. So it's kind of like the perfect mix for me of Battlestar and Resistance, where it's quick, and then you can basically just BS with your dice because you roll dice, in a cup or behind your screen. Go, oh, I only got -4s, like BS,
Nice.
Cylon, but yeah, so it's good.
Well, I mean,
Really
why
good.
didn't he, I wonder why he didn't theme that with the Space Cadets theme. You could have come up with some sort of Space Cadets theme for that, couldn't you? Don't you think?
I don't know that it fits that though, because Space Cadets is more kind of lighthearted, and I don't know. I don't think I don't know if it sets the right mood for a trader. Like I think you need
Hmm.
a little darkness. You need a little bit of an edge.
All
Maybe. I
right,
mean,
all right.
that's just my guess.
I'll buy into that, I guess.
Yeah. Plus, you can't theme everything Space Cadets. After a while,
Well, mark my words, that's going to be his bread and butter, man. I mean,
I don't know. I
he's
think next year. Yeah, I agree. Next year, though, I think he's going to lay dormant on that. I would
you think?
expect. I don't know. I mean, there's a certain point you want to exploit it just enough. There's like a fine art to that.
Well, if anybody can figure it out, it'll be Steven.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But other than that, man, I mean, what have you been playing?
Well, let's see. Myth, Galaxy Defenders, and like I said, I just picked up finally my copy of Betrayal that I played but never owned. And what else have I been playing? Um, I've just reorganized my shelves. Oh, a lot of Russian railroads, Eminent Domain, with the expansion, which is really fun.
Yeah, expansion makes that game.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I love that game anyway, but yeah, it totally. To me, the Eminent Domain expansion, and I'll just spoil my review of the Fleet expansion. Those two games should be in the top 100 on Board Game Geek, in my opinion, with the expansions. No question about it. What else have I been playing? I played something else. I played some Forbidden Island the other day, and you know what? I finally played Triumvirate, which is a two-player card game from Indie Boards and Cards. They did
Yep.
Haggis and Resistance and all. It's a two-player trick-taking game, and I've had that thing on my shelf for like 3 years, and I finally played it the other day. It's really fun. So, but anyway, it's a trick-taking game. It's not very exciting to talk about.
No, those usually aren't. But yeah, it's because the theme just whatever.
There's no theme, yeah.
No, none. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've been trying to. I've had some Kickstarter videos I've had to do recently. I've been playing a lot of I've been playing D&D more than anything probably. But
Oh, really? Thought you were a Pathfinder guy.
well, no. Pathfinder breaks around. Most Pathfinder people will agree that it breaks like around 9th level. Basically, the game just gets wonky. Wizards are able to bend reality. Like once any role playing game where death becomes a non-factor, like all of a sudden your cleric is able to bring people back from the dead, with reasonably small detriment. Once like wizards are able to, literally teleport the entire party out of trouble, things like that. As a dungeon master, you're kind of forced to make the world kind of more instead of telling a story, you're trying to come up with ways to more take away the advantages of your players, so they can't just fall back on certain things that they have. And plus, once you get like that high level, especially in like Pathfinder and the most recent editions of D&D, like the damage that you're doing and everything like that is just this obscene amount of damage, and it's just the combats become these dice fests. And so we've actually reverted back to our own kind of home-ruled first edition AD&D feel.
See, I'd love to do that. That would be fun, because I used to have the old red box, and that was basic D&D. I kind of like, not grew out of it, but my life took me different directions at that age. Um, by the time the AD&D stuff was something, and but yeah, I remember this how kind of basic the rules were. That'd be kind of nice just to not be so rules heavy sometimes. But
Yeah, I mean,
anyway,
and I even think that the rules that we have are still too much. I mean, that we used. I mean, because I don't.
hmm
I like having the rules be almost not even there, and so you're kind of
yeah,
forced just to play the game and act out your characters and whatever. But there's too many statmonger players in my group for me
is
to
there?
do that. They just
Hmm.
they're power gamers. They want to roll buckets of dice
Yeah,
and they want to be able to do what they will. So, but no, I mean
interesting.
that's just what. And then I play my Friday night game with my daughter and my wife, and that's fun. Just
Oh, good.
sit down and play D&D with my wife and my daughter for an hour and a half. And my daughter really likes it. She
Awesome.
has a blast. So, and then I do
Hmm.
those little videos with right after we get done with the session, we go downstairs and we talk about it. So.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Well, and then, like I say this, it's cool if people watch it, but for me, it's just I want to be able to like show her boyfriends those videos when I
Yeah.
guarantee you I'm gonna save those videos and then I'm gonna play them at her wedding and
Perfect.
in the background.
Yeah, you got to go through them with. You'll probably sit there bawling your eyes out when she's 22 or whatever it is, and
Oh.
going through and trying to find all the really embarrassing little statements she makes or whatever.
No, I know. And the thing is, like, she's gonna be 7 this summer, and like 7's like a real age. I mean, like my wife said that to me. She said, it's like it's one thing for us to say that, oh, she's 6, because she's still a little kid, but like
She's a human being
7,
now.
7 is like a real. Is like a real number, I mean, it's like
Yeah,
it's like she's getting older and she's not my little princess anymore. I mean, she'll always be my little princess, but
yeah.
it's just it's I I'm getting kind of teared up here. I miss the little girl, I guess, in a really weird way. I mean, she's still a little tiny girl, of course, but I miss
hmm
my little 3-year-old girl that used to clap when I walked in the door and sit in my lap and that was the only place in the world that she wanted to be. So now I'm already kind of lame to her when her friends are
Oh,
over.
now
Oh
it
yeah,
begins.
yeah. It's like, oh, hey girls, what's going on? Dad, we're playing. Would you leave my room? It's like, oh, I'm gonna go crawl over to my game room and cry now. Just like,
See,
but whatever. It's all. I still got my son, except he's just a total mama's boy. So,
uh,
but what do you do?
yeah, they all are. I have
Oh,
two boys.
it just I'm the coolest guy in the room until mom comes home, and
Yeah,
then I might as well be invisible. So,
exactly.
what do we have any questions?
We do, we do.
I've answered like one question.
I know. I'm going back to the beginning here. Mr. Darth Ed says, any thoughts on reviewing the Kickstarter edition of games versus their retail editions? Myth, for example, comes with a ton of stuff not covered in your reviews. Any
I
thoughts?
will. I ponied up the big bucks for Myth back in the day. So when I get all of my little add-ons and all the cool little extra miniatures and stuff like that, I'll probably at the very least do an unboxing of it. What
Yeah.
I want to do actually is I want to actually take some of those and show everybody what a horrible painter I am of miniatures. And so
Nice.
I'm gonna try this summer if I can set up a camera and then I'm gonna because I can paint a miniature in not well, mind you, but I can paint a miniature in about 30 minutes. And I kind of cheat and I use a dip method, and everything like that. I can get it, and then I want to
Right.
maybe just do that and just paint a miniature, and then just show me and do Benny Hill music in the background again or something,
That'll
and then
go really fast. Yeah.
and go really fast, and then just, show one, and then everybody can laugh at my abilities or whatever. But those miniatures, like you said, are pretty sweet. So I definitely want to paint them. The only thing that stinks about that is that I never have the ability to I never want to repaint like the same miniature over and over again. You know how it's like, oh, it's like
Oh
here
yeah.
I need to make an army of goblins, and they're all like the same goblins that are like this, you know, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you know, goblin number 3, you know, you're just like, yeah, pretty soon you're just like, you're having a giant paintbrush and just slapping the green on there, you're done, you know. So.
Yeah, well, that's when you just do the dip. All right, these are green.
Yeah, these are green. There you go. Move on. But yeah, so, but yeah, no, the problem is that you know, reviewing, when I review a Kickstarter, I mean, like it's more just to show you how the game is played and tell you what I think of it. And you know, like, and when people are like kind enough to send me their baby, and for me to do a Kickstarter, I've returned a lot of them because I said I don't like the game. I said I'm not going to do a review of this because I'm not gonna trash on, you know, your baby. You know, just give it. You know, do you have somebody else?
Yeah, before or while the campaign's running.
Yeah, I'm not going to trash on it and take money out of your pocket. And so then I ask them, would you like me to send it to somebody else? And they say, yeah, send it to Joel. And I said, well, he's going to tell you no. So, no. but no. So like so then I you know, I sent it on. But I mean, so like I do the review just to tell you what I like about it, and hopefully like you'll kind of get an idea of when I show you how to play the game, whether you think the game is cool or whatever. And so at that point, like when you get the actual, like if they're nice enough to send me a copy of the real game, and there's still a couple people out there that never did, which, you know, fine, whatever, you know, life goes on. But you know, what's the point of doing a review at that point? Because it's not going to change other than me showing you what the final prototypes, you know, like what the final components look like.
Right.
I mean, I suppose I could do an unboxing, but then again, you know, everybody, I mean, trashes on those like nobody's business. So.
No, there's people that like them.
Well, obviously, because like,
but there's people that do.
I mean, obviously, people like them because I mean, some of my most watched videos are that. But yeah, so you know, I should mention that before I forget. There's actually a recent Kickstarter video I did, and whether you want to watch it or not, if you are a fan of like the old, did you ever play like the real-time strategy games like Warcraft, like not World of Warcraft, but Warcraft?
Oh yeah,
like, Warcraft
I still got StarCraft 2 installed on my machine. I haven't played it in like a year. But.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so if you like those old RTS games, I did a review for this game called Eternity Wars. That game is awesome. I mean, as I was playing it, it feels like you're playing Warcraft 2. Like, I mean, like literally, like putting your, you know, it's like, oh, I need to build this building so I can make my, you know, my second level troops, and then I can put my second level troops, and they pop out of this building, and so you're kind of moving forward and taking over more of the world, and you're like. Right. And it's the one thing that I think people are going to have a problem with it is that it isn't miniatures based; it's all card based. So, you know, which, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm sure like since you're literally having, you could have up to like 30 or 40 creatures or whatever working for you, including your workers and all your army. There's no way that guy could have made a board game with the miniatures. I mean, that's like when I was talking to him about it, Justin, the designer, he actually said that he's like, maybe, he said, if I get this thing published, you know, we can look at making miniatures later, you know, but right now it's just like card based. But then again, Summoner Wars, man, everybody plays that like crazy with the cards. So, but yeah, that game was awesome. That was like one of the best like 2-player games I played in a long time. So, not that I'm trying to like pimp it or something like that, but yeah, you know, I've got a high-level prototype, so if it never gets funded, I get to keep that. So, I mean, I can still play the game forever. So, but yeah, I mean, that game was pretty cool as far as like recent things I did as far as that goes. But I mean, what we were talking about is, you know, it's just I never really saw the point of, you know, doing a review of a Kickstarter game after you've done a review of it, I guess. It's one of those weird things, I guess.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. You know, I've done a couple of previews now, and you know, it's just there's some. I guess if I were to do like a review, yeah, I don't know. I haven't come to that situation. I guess I wouldn't really want to.
Next question.
All right.
Next question. Let's get through questions here.
Okay. Well, let's try to catch up here with what's the live chat, because these are the folks that showed up.
Yeah.
And I have like 16 other questions from the last one that we never got around to asking.
Okay, quick.
So somebody just mentioned Condottieri, which is a game not often talked about, and they said they just picked it up. I just want to say, good job. That's a good game. Lance, have you tried Epic Resort, which there were like 40 Kickstarter videos posted today?
Well, that's just it.
When's yours coming?
No, I actually have one.
Yeah.
Ben is the designer. Ben is the guy who did Legacy.
The time travel one?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And Ben
I
is
like
actually like if I got in my car, I could show up at Ben's house in 2 hours if I wanted to drive and go see Ben.
Okay.
So Ben was at Con of the North, and I sat down and played the game with him there, and I really enjoyed it. I think it was really cool. I'll do one. I don't want to I talked to him actually a few days ago about it, and I'll post mine after the rush is over here. I'll post mine in here in a week or two. Well, I mean, I think check it out. Check out. I know Ryan did a really good review of it just recently. Go check out his review.
All right.
Ryan Metzler, if you guys don't know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a very, very solid game. Honestly, I haven't played it since I played it at the convention. I need to bust it out and play with my group, and kind of get their feelings for it too. Because when I do a review of a Kickstarter game, or pretty much any game really, I do take my my gaming group's feelings into account. I mean, I definitely say what I think, but I definitely say there's a guy in my group that just absolutely hated this game. And just like I definitely bring their opinions to light. But no, I think it's an extremely solid game. It's better than Legacy. I enjoyed it more than that.
Really?
Just I'll flat out say that right now. But
okay. I enjoyed Legacy too, so cool.
Yeah, Legacy was one of those games that it definitely never got the I shouldn't say it didn't get the respect it deserved, because he sold through his first print run. So
yeah.
And he said I was talking to him, and he was about halfway through his second print run. So,
cool.
for a guy in a little town in Minnesota, publishing games all on his lonesome, that's pretty damn impressive. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, next question. How do you guys choose start player? I have an app, and everybody puts their finger on the app, and then whoever lights up is start player. That's pretty much it.
9 times out of 10, I just pick somebody. It's usually my buddy Craig. I say, we're gonna pick first player. Craig, you're first player. He's like, all right. And he just, I always make Craig go first, because then he'll have the propensity to make the mistakes first, and then he can curse and complain later. So.
Oh, I missed a question. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any others. No, I didn't miss any. All right, so first of all, this is regarding True Detective. I have not yet caught up to the end.
Hey, I haven't watched a single episode, so no spoilers. Just drop the question. I don't want to hear anything.
Everybody shut up about it, because I'm really enjoying it.
I haven't watched a single episode, so everybody keep their mouths shut, or else I will say right now who lives and dies in Game of Thrones up until Dances with Dragons. And I know there's people out there who haven't read that.
Yeah, I'm one of them, so please.
So save Joel.
Yeah, save Joel. All right, but this is related to, I guess they wanted to plug True Detective as well. It is amazing. What are some games that have a dark and twisted theme? Well, Betrayal at House on the Hill, kind of. That's more of like a lighthearted dark.
It's more of a comic theme.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. I mean, there's a few out there. I mean,
what looks really cool that I really want to try to get a copy of one of these days is Cave Evil.
Yes, I own a copy of that actually, and it's very good for what it is, but it isn't. I think owning that game and being able to say you own the game is more important than the actual game itself. It's one of those things. Honestly, I mean, it's just like if you liked death metal album covers and things like that. I mean, it's a very, but it's. I'm not going to bag on the game because it's decent, but it didn't revolutionize board gaming or anything like that. It definitely did. There's a lot of games out there that will take a really a shock value type of thing. Like it's like, oh, look at this gritty art, or look at look at all this blood and whatever. Look at Chaos in the Old World. Like the map is actually a stretched out piece of skin or whatever.
Yeah.
Things like that. I mean, so it's kind of dark and gritty. And that one is, but I mean, when it comes down to, that game is just, a bunch of dice and summoning creatures and
Just
fighting each other.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I would say there was a game called, and everybody should own this game because my daughter's name it was actually a street in the God, it was a mob game. I gotta remember the name of it now.
Hmm.
Oh gosh, it's on my it's in my thing, and then it was one of the very first mob ties. It was one of the very first Kickstarter videos I ever did. Called and if you ever go and look at mob ties, and it's definitely a very weird what's the word I'm looking for here? It's got a lot of screw over everybody, putting money down, like assassinating each other, killing each other off type of thing. And it really, as far as like mob games go, I think it kind of got lost in the shuffle. But if you ever take a moment to look at the artwork on those, I mean, it's like the artwork on the cards is very grim, like people getting shot in the face and being fed to pigs and like torture and things like that. And so that was very good. But I mean, Camp Grizzly is a game that I'm dying to play, which is like the weird take on like horror movies. It's like the Friday the 13th movies, and that has a lot of artwork in it that is very once again gritty.
I remember seeing that one, yeah.
And I'm waiting so patiently for that to for that movie stuff to come out and like one game that I can actually pick up, because I definitely want to play that out. God, man, dark and gritty games.
Well, you got Arkham Horror and Eldritch Horror. Those are kind of.
I mean, they're dark and gritty, but they're not like find the entrails of your wife, spread over your lawn type of gritty. It's like and I think that's where they're kind of going with. I just don't think there's that much of a audience for it, honestly. I mean, it's like I think people like to watch movies and TV shows that show like the horrible things that men and women can do, human beings can do, because it's kind of like it's like we want to be like scared and kind of like terrified of the human condition, if you will.
Yeah.
But we want it like on the TV screen where we know it's right there and we can step away from it. And I think if you were playing a board game that was like you had to embody that or be a part of that, I think people would just be kind of like, I don't really want to be a serial killer,
Right.
It's just, and not that I think that, I'm sure there's a group of people that was like, oh, that'd be awesome. I'd love to play a game where I have to kill a bunch of people, but I mean, look at Whatchamadig, the game where you're Jack the Ripper or whatever.
Letters from Whitechapel.
Letters from Whitechapel, yeah. I mean,
that's pretty. That kind of, I'll admit, there's a little bit of an uncomfortable feeling with that one, and that one's pretty, benign, relatively.
Yeah, and it's fairly abstract. But I mean, look at like the 2-player game that Jack in Jack in New York or whatever, and
Mr. Jack, yeah.
Mr. Jack. I mean, there it's like, oh yeah, one person's Jack the Ripper, but it's like totally cartoon. I mean, it's just like it's not. Right. Like really. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Hey, whoever asked that question, design a game. There you go. There you go. Find that audience. Find that niche.
I guess somebody's saying their Mansions of Madness is one.
I wouldn't even say that is. It's the same. It's same thing as Arkham Horror and stuff. I mean, I guess some of the storylines are really awful. But man, I haven't played Mansions of Madness in years.
Yeah, you're probably better off for it. So next question is from Rodney, who we both currently hate Rodney right now.
Yeah, he sucks. Yeah. Send me if he wants to be my friend. Send me your Marvel Dice Masters, and then we can be friends. Hey, Rodney, send it to me. I'll review it and I'll send it back. There, that's my offer.
Send it to me first.
No, I said it first.
I'll send it to Lance. No. But he has a question. Did you guys ever play miniature games, and do any tempt you these days? I imagine it's harder to find time for them now. and he's saying he played Necromunda, which I've never heard of.
That's an awesome game.
Is it?
Yeah.
I have looked at well, the guys that do Myth, they have another one called
Mercs.
Yeah, that one looks cool because you like move around with the cards. You know, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have all the abilities on the cards and stuff. But I mean, for me to want to play a miniatures game, like I need all the terrain and stuff, and I just don't have. I'm not going to go to the shop and hang out and all that, and and play on their tables, and I'm not going to have that here. Like for X-wing, I actually got like I don't remember what the material was off the top of my head, but it was like a space map, and like flew the ships around on space. I did it in one of my videos on X-wing, but um, like the second or third time I played it on my kitchen table, I was like, I can't handle this. I need a board. I need something to play on. So, like I was saying earlier with Sales of Glory, I'm absolutely going to go pick up the ocean map, and just so I can sail my ships on something that's not wood. But I looked at, well, I like Dread Ball and Blood Bowl. Those are fun. I don't own those, but those are fun to play.
I think what he means is more of the lines of like Warhammer 40K and stuff like that, where you build your army.
I know. I
got into 40K, not 40K, I should say. I got into Warhammer Fantasy Battles for a little while. I had a Skaven army, which I really liked. And then that's in a box somewhere in my parents' basement. Lord knows where that is. I like I said earlier, I played HeroClix. I don't even know if that really even counts. I just, it's people that are big into the miniatures games. They have a lot of time, and I don't. I mean, I just don't. I mean, it's like it. There are times, Joel, when like I think to myself, maybe I should just. Wouldn't it be nice just to not have to do reviews anymore? Like if you just decided, well, I think I've said all I wanted to say, and I don't think, I mean, like, and I don't take that as like I'm gonna quit or anything like that, but I just like, wow, can you imagine like being able to just play whatever you wanted, and not having to like worry about when am I gonna find the time to put my thoughts on a camera for this?
I don't have that because like I play just about as much as I can. I mean, I literally play every day at work, just about. I mean, there's some days that we don't play, but I play every day at work. I play every other Thursday, like without a miss, usually. I play every Friday without a miss. And then, during the week and stuff, I'll set up a game and solo it or something. Like I'll play Eldritch Horror solo or whatever, something like that. So I find that I kind of maxed out my gaming time. I mean, I want to play more, for sure, but it's just like even if I wasn't doing reviews, I don't think, other than maybe possibly soloing games, I don't think I would get any more time to play. I mean, I'm pretty tapped out as it is.
Yeah, I mean, like I have Saturday afternoon plotted out. I play every Saturday afternoon. Usually one night during the week, I have friends over. We figure out, my wife and I figure out what night works best for all of us, as far as that goes. And then like one day of the week, and also usually on Sundays, I'll like head over to the local game store and I'll do something there for a little while. And then like I do, whenever I have a spare hour here or a spare 45 minutes there, I will sit down and I'll either read rules or I'll play something by myself for a little bit, just to do it. But I mean, man, it's like I wish I had more time. I just don't, especially now. My daughter is getting into gymnastics and stuff like that, and she's got all these different events and dancing and whatever that I have to go and do. And
see, I don't have that so much anymore. My oldest used to play football and soccer and all that stuff, and he's 19. He's closer to you than he is to me. He's working in North Dakota.
Yeah.
And my youngest doesn't. He was in Boy Scouts there for a while, but he's more of a tinkerer kind of guy. He's more of a. I mean, he has friends, but he's a little bit more geeky, I guess you could say. Like he doesn't. he doesn't have a lot of activity, not structured activities. So, but anyway, I hear what you're saying because not so many years ago I was running the old one around to football practice every single weekday, and and going to his games on Saturdays and all that stuff, and so I don't have that problem. Anyway, but I kind of miss doing that actually, but yeah, I mean, once the oldest one comes home and he's done with his homework by 5 o'clock, then it's pretty much hang out and watch TV with them, or play a game with them, or read rules or whatever.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying totally.
Yeah, but
next question.
Yes, sir. Next question is scrolled and is gone. Let me find it. There
Rodney,
we go.
send me the game.
Yeah, send me the game. That's what I'm gonna re-edit this. Send Joel the game. From To the Table. Joel, what are your ideas on getting new players into some of the war games like the Coin Series? Coin Series, depends on what you mean.
I'll take a nap. Hold on.
Yeah,
hold on.
Lance, let's. I'll be quick. Coin Series, I would stay away from if they're like a new gamer. But we were just talking about this like not so long ago.
I'm sorry. Did you say nude gamer?
No, yeah, if they're nude. No. But the Coin Series is tricky. I would say play something like 1775, or even A House Divided is good. Nexus Ops is kind of a war game. Kemet is sort of a war game. What else? What's really good is the Band of Brothers game. I really need to review that. That's a really good, easy to get into war game. Very short rule book. It's like 10 pages. That's good. Claustrophobia. That's not a war game. Never mind. I get carried away with war games. If there's fighting, I'm like, oh, that's a war game. It's not the case. But yeah, I would. I think I'm missing a few there. I know there's one or two I'm missing. Let me look. Oh, Battle Lore, Memoir, and stuff. That's good. Those are good war games. And then like what's really good war game is Julius Caesar. It's a block war game, and the rules are pretty small and simple. It's got sort of card-driven fighting and moving and activation and all that stuff. But you still have to consider a little bit of terrain, a little bit of sort of like allowance points and like 2-hit numbers. So some of those basic concepts that are in like a lot of the hex and counter war games are in that game, but it's a really, really easy game to play. Okay, I'm done. You can wake up.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Next one is from Drum Phil. Have either of you been an official demo volunteer for a publisher?
You have.
I have for Gary Games at the time, for Ascension. They're now Stoneblade Entertainment. It was pretty fun, kind of. Do people ever do this for more than one publisher at the same time? Oh, is that frowned upon? I wouldn't think it would be. I mean, as long as you're not like working for AG and then Gary Games and you sign up with both at the same convention on the same day, I don't think there's no problem there.
I think it'd be one thing is if you were being like actually paid, like not like we're gonna pay for your hotel room and stuff, but actually like you're an employee kind of thing. Then I think there'd be a problem with it. I kind of sort of did it for Tasty Minstrel last year at Gen Con. I had to be over at their place, and for the 7 people that wanted my signature on their Undead Viking card, I signed those. So, but it was more than 7. I think it was 8. So.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's a good way to kind of get a lot of your convention paid for. Like when I went, I had to just get there on a plane. I had the hotel paid for, meals and paid for, and except for dinner. I had to fend for myself on dinner. But they brought snacks and stuff for breakfast, and they went and got takeout for lunch. And my entrance to the hotel to the convention was free, and I got in early. I think I bought Ares Project, which was really hot, and I got Ninjato, which was really hot a few years ago, before they even opened the hall up. So that was kind of a nice perk, of being in there early and stuff. And then, but yeah, it's fun. I mean, you get kind of sick of playing the same game over and over and over and over and over and over again, and trying not to smash everybody's face in, like you just let them win and stuff. But anyway, that's that question. Darth Ed is asking if Myth and Galaxy Defenders are considered miniatures games. No, I don't. I think they're board games with miniatures.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go ahead. The big thing about it is I think the difference is that could you would would somebody allow you to show up at a Warhammer tournament with a bunch of like wooden cubes with the name of the unit written on them? No. but could you play Myth with like with stand-ins for all the miniatures? Yes.
You could. Yeah.
I think that's the difference there, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Next question is. These are answers. Oh, they already answered. Any upcoming releases you are looking forward to?
Well, once I get Rodney's copy of Marvel Master Dice,
Well, this smart ass said. He says, "I promise I'll play Dice Masters with a heavy dose of guilt until you get your copies. Appreciate it."
Oh, I'm sure it's gonna keep him up at night.
Yeah, jeez, it's wet. So, any upcoming releases? Well, yeah, Dice Masters and
careful.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think we're in the quiet season.
We are, because Origins is creeping up, and then Gen Con. Nobody releases anything right now. I mean, everybody's just kind of it's all quiet. I'm kind of looking forward to getting my Kickstarter copy of Thief eventually, which I'm excited to play. But
of what?
Thief, the new thing from Academy Games.
Oh yeah.
Did you back it or not?
No.
No, that one eventually it just they were giving too much away for the $60 for me not to get in, so I got in on that one. If it's half the game of Freedom Underground, it'll be awesome. So.
Oh yeah, that's obviously a great game.
I don't know, man. I mean, well, I actually finally got a copy of Might and Magic Heroes. I got to play it though. So.
You got a copy of that?
Yes.
How?
I paid through the nose for it.
I tried snagging one, and they had a math trade like last week. I tried giving away the farm for it, but nope.
No luck?
No. I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of want to get it, but it's also like I almost just want to get it to review it. Just, it looks cool, but then on the one hand, it's like I think I have so many other games that are kind of like in that sort of vein, but yeah, you got it, so play it, review it. I'll watch it.
Yeah, I will. I will. Maybe I'll drag it along with me to Gen Con and we can play it there.
Yeah, if it's good, yeah, that'd be fun. I'd be down for that.
But no, I ended up paying like $75 for it or something.
Oh, that's not so bad.
It wasn't. I got a good deal. I got a good deal on it. So.
Okay.
Let's come on. Let's more questions.
Yes, there are more. They're awake now. What's the best new 2014 game you have played so far?
For me, well, it's technically not 2014, but the best game I played in 2014 is Madeira, without a question.
That's a 2014 release if you live in America, in my opinion.
Well, it was released limitedly or whatever, if you want to say, in 2013. So, but so yeah, that's probably the best game I've played. I mean, I never played a game where like 5 hours later I was done and I was just supercharged afterwards. I was like, whoa, that was just a great game. I need to play that again as soon as possible. So definitely Madeira, which is weird for me because I'm usually not a soulless, mind-numbing Euro lover.
Madeira's not soulless, though. It's mind-numbing. It's not soulless.
I got the same fuzzy head feeling that I used to get from Dominant Species from that one, which I really like. So.
Yeah. I would have to say... Now, I don't want to spoil it. See, this is my problem. I plan on doing a vlog video probably next month.
Oh, just do it.
Top
just
5.
Say it.
Well, then what's the point of doing the video later?
Well, just say number 1. The other 4 are going to be are going to be up in the air.
I have 4, but I don't know what the 5th one is yet.
Well, just tell me 1. It doesn't have to be your number 1.
I'll pick one that I know is not going to be number 1, but it's going to be in there. How's that sound? This is one of them. This is a teaser. Sorry. I gotta have motivation to make the video.
You're like a little girl. Let's go here. Come on.
All right, Russian Railroads would have to be in the list there.
Well, that was totally a 2013 release.
No. The official Z-Man release date is like January 6th. And Z-Man is the person that brought it to America, so there you go.
My problem with that game is that it is... It's such a point salad game. You know, it's like, oh, I scored 390 points and I came in second. You know, I mean, it's just like...
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, it's got a lot of cool working parts. I'll give you that. I got to do a review of it, and I've been lazy and I haven't gotten one done. But you know, it was thoroughly enjoyable. I'll give you that.
It continues to grow on me. I think I like it more now. Played it 4 times, and I like it more each time I play it for sure. And like I can't wait to play it again. You know, so.
I do think you get kind of railroaded, technically, into a path, if you will. Like if you start doing like the Trans-Siberian Railroad.
Yeah.
I mean, you totally.
You've chosen.
To stick to it. You've chosen. and like if you choose the third path or whatever you've picked, I mean, you have to stick to that path, and that, in my mind, is a detraction from the game.
I think you can spread those well because. I think
really?
The most points I scored, I think it was like 390 or 387 or something, and it was the bottom 2 tracks, but also like the engineering or whatever, the industrial thing. And so I had almost maxed out the middle track. I think I had maxed out the middle track. I maxed out the industrial, and I was up a ways on the bottom one. And I basically just totally ignored the top one. So I think there's a little bit of mixing and matching. And I know I like it because you kind of go in and you say, today I'm going to do this, and then see how it works.
It's not a very solvable game, I'll tell you that much, which I appreciate about it.
You can hose the heck out of each other. You know what somebody did to me in the last game? They hosed themselves, though.
I'm sure you'll tell me.
Yeah. You know how you get the number 9 trains, and then you put those out and stuff? They gobbled up. We were playing a 3-player game. They gobbled up all 3 9s in one move. And there's chained up this whole thing, and they're like, all the 9s were gone, and of course, the other 2 of us are like totally slow boating it to try to grab the highest number train. Instead of trying to, I'm going to upgrade to the 6 and then the 9. I'm just going to wait for the 9. And they totally just jacked it, so it's like you can really just bone somebody in that game. I didn't realize that. Anyway.
I just got a message from our good friend Patrick Nickel from Crash Games, and I'm supposed to plug his new game Pay Dirt. From
man!
Which is actually a very good game. It
looks good. I tell you, it looks good. I tell you.
And it's from Mr. Neiman, the same guy who did Alien Frontiers.
Yeah.
So
good pedigree.
And yeah, it's got a good pedigree. So yeah, but he just sent me a message by Twitter. Patrick, if you're listening to this, nobody uses direct messaging on Twitter to send emails.
I use it all the time.
Well, I've never gotten one from you.
Well, we just we text.
I see how it is.
There's no. All right, next question. Enough free advertising, Nickel.
Hey, he's like lost like something like 75 pounds or something like that.
Is it good? Good
deal. Yeah,
that
good deal.
Happy.
So yeah, that does make me happy. That guy is way too nice and way too awesome of a dude to leave this earth any sooner than he needs to. So
absolutely right. Next question. What is the next gaming convention you're going to? Tabletop Day, if you count that. If you don't, then Gen Con.
Yeah, Gen Con will be mine. Are you gonna hit anything after Gen Con? Are you gonna sneak off to Essen this year?
No.
Are you gonna go to BGG Con?
No. I got the Seattle thing.
Yeah, I think I will be going to Gen Con, and then I'm going to try to figure out BGG Con, but I don't think I'm going to be able to pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
But I am going to go to Grand Con in Grand Rapids, Michigan this year. So
Good. Yeah, it looks like fun too.
yeah.
I'd like to go to that.
Well, you should come with me.
Yeah, when is that? That's like after Gen Con now.
It is. It's in, and Brian Lenz is the guy who runs it. Remember you met him at Gen Con last year?
Yeah.
He's a super cool guy. It's what, October? I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
That's right around Sasquatch time. Mine's Halloween weekend this year.
So what about the Sasquatches? Do you believe in them? You know, they're real. You know.
No.
Did you just swear? I think you just swore.
No,
I thought you dropped an F-bomb there.
No.
What are you talking about? Those guys look very very reputable. The ones they're chasing after the Sasquatches. Did you know that the reason why hi Cat. Did you know the reason why we can't find any Sasquatch bones is? Porcupines eat their bones. They're a delicacy. That's why we haven't found any Sasquatch skeletons.
Okay.
See?
What channel is this on? The History Channel?
Yeah, the History Channel. Isn't that just awful? I remember when the History Channel, it was nonstop World War II videos. But
exactly. Yeah.
But now it's auctioneers and all kinds of other stuff instead.
Aliens. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whatever. They got to make a buck too, right?
Yeah, I guess. Whatever. Just shut the channel down. Stop embarrassing yourself. I don't know.
When my father-in-law, who is this awesome guy, I love him to death. When my kids' great grandparents come to town, so like they'd be his in-laws, technically his wife's parents, come to town. Her dad comes and takes over his TV because he's got all the channels or whatever, and watches like the military channel from sunup to sundown. It's just which my father-in-law is retired military, but he's like, he even said there's only so much I can take. Like starting at 8 a.m. they start watching the military channel, and it stays on that channel until 9 p.m. You know.
Gosh, everything must taste like lead.
Good stuff. But
next question.
Yeah. Next question.
How do you? This is a follow-up. How do you become a demo volunteer for a publisher? I would say
a warm body and ingratiate them. Send them an email. Seriously, just say. I mean, what's the worst they're gonna do is tell you no. I mean, they're not gonna come to your house and punch you.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like kind of like me sending a request to a publisher asking for a free copy of a game. I mean, you know, most of the time you never hear anything, and you know, and they're not gonna like hate you for asking. So I mean,
no.
A lot of times they're desperate to have people do it. So there's like no reason not to. Yeah, just figure out who you want to do it for, and go to their website, find their contact page, and just say, hey, I'm going to be in, say, Indianapolis around that time. I'd love to be able to be a demo person. What do I have to do to figure this out?
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, just from my personal experience, I was a huge, and still am a huge Ascension fanboy, and was always on their forums and, you know, responding to questions about rules and different stuff. I mean, this is a little above and beyond. I even built the Vassal module for Ascension before they had the iPhone app and all that stuff, and just kind of stuck my head up, and then, you know, and they were like, hey, you know, you're here. We know you love us, so come on down, kind of thing. And so just get involved, and they'll recognize you, and then ask, like Lance said, just ask, and they'll tell you.
No, and you're never allowed to play any of our games again.
Yeah, we're coming to your house. Give us that copy. Next question from Nuno.
Question.
Speaking of Madeira, hello, Nuno.
Hey, Nuno. Thanks for the awesome game, my man.
Yeah. When will you? Okay. your game is also on my list, by the way. I didn't want to say anything, but when will you guys attend Essen? I don't know. Maybe when I retire. We'll see.
The problem is the same with you. The problem is one, time off from work, and the problem is Essen happens right around my anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to have enough money for not only myself but my wife to attend as well. And I'd have to sell my wife on the idea that going to a giant board game festival is romantic. and I don't think I'd be able to pull that off. So,
yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, so it's, you know, we've talked about it, and we've talked about like if we went to Germany early, and then like we made our way to Essen for like the end of our honeymoon. But I mean, it's definitely
then you would just be talking about Essen during your whole.
Yeah, just like, honey, could you just
I can't wait.
Put some clothes on. I gotta get to the board game convention. And then I'd be divorced, and I'd never have to worry
so you could just
about
stay
finding the time. Yeah, I could just stay there. I could ask if I could demo board games for the rest of the year. Just find some guy.
That's old man Mikester.
Yeah.
He just stayed here. All right.
Next question. Yeah, thanks again for the awesome game, and make sure, congratulations on getting Panamax signed with Stronghold. So,
is Nuno the Panamax guy?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. That's cool. I've been excited about that since before Lance.
No, maybe. Who knows?
I saw that. Was it Mesa was doing it, and Mesa sent me a game that was really fun last year called Cosmonauts.
Yep.
Which is kind of a cool little space travel kind of thing. And then they announced Panamax at that time, and I was like, oh, it's pretty cool. I really like the artwork on the board and everything. That was kind of what grabbed me at first. Anyway, next question, Eric Strong. This is like a two-parter that interrupted by Rodney. How rude.
Rude.
Have either of you run into situations where a particular player is repeatedly targeted with all of the take-that elements across different games? Whether it's justification from the group because they're a better player, and if so, how have you dealt with it? I don't know that I've seen a certain person get picked on, but I definitely know somebody that is the first one to start a fight in the game, and so that's interesting. But
my buddy Craig is like the first person ever in any game we ever play that has any kind of like not set up sides to begin with, but will eventually have sides. He's the first person to ever say to somebody, "How about you and I be in a treaty and let's get Lance?" And that's like that's like his opening gambit of like every Game of Thrones game I've ever played with him. How about you and I team up against Lance? And I just like shake my head. I'm like, oh great. Whenever I would moderate Werewolf. And like the very first round, okay, I'm pretty sure Lance is a werewolf, and even if he isn't, he lies too well. So let's just string him up and let's be done with it. I'm like, oh, that was fun. I'll go make a sandwich.
Well, we do have one guy in my group. His name is Jonathan, and even if we're playing I remember we were playing Eldritch Horror like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we sat down and we're like, okay, so Jonathan's the traitor. We've established that, right? And just every single game, we'll be playing like some Euro. Okay, well, Jonathan's the traitor, and then we'll explain the rules or something. But because he just seems like he's always the traitor in Resistance, like every single time.
Nice.
And he's really good at it. Like he's a very kind of low key guy, so you can never gauge him. He doesn't like show any kind of he doesn't get flustered at all. So, but. Yeah, I don't know. I've just never seen anybody just get hammered from, being attacked by everybody all the time.
No, I mean Craig is fun to pick on in like whenever we play anything because he does have the best like kind of spaz outs, if you will. So that's kind of like people will like try to get him going just because he's kind of cranky. But
I get that because I'll do that, but people, because I just turn into a sailor. after, but it's more of a joking thing. I'm not like actually pissed. I'm just like, I just kind of take on that role.
Nice.
But anyway, but I don't get picked on or anything. I don't think. Maybe I do, and I just don't notice.
You just rise above it.
Yeah.
You're not affected.
So the next question, this is a bunch of bull from Rodney. He says, Lance, did you try Disc Wars? That game seems so wacky. What was your reaction to seeing it? You don't care what I think about it?
Well, I think Rodney and I actually, I played the original Disc Wars way back whenever.
Yeah.
And I got a copy. I picked it up cheap at my local game store, and I played it once by myself, just dinking around with it. And so I really don't have a good feel for it. I mean, it definitely feels like I was playing the old Disc Wars in a way. And I'm just not a big Warhammer guy anymore, and I guess I wished it I probably would have been happier if they had gone with like their Terranoth theme, because Terranoth is it's still not really developed, and you could have done anything you wanted with it. I mean, I kind of get the idea why they went with Warhammer, just because it's like the established game out there that they have. I mean, it's super cheap and it's super easy to get into it, and I could definitely see it taking off. But I don't know. I got to play it again. I don't know. I'll say this. I remember playing the heck out of the original Disc Wars, and I remember, like, if you went and you played in a tournament or something like that, you could get special discs, special units, and a lot of those were just broken as hell, and like you'd hate, and there was no real good rules set, if I remember correctly, and I always hated this one guy who had like these he had won a few tournaments, and he had these certain units that were just so much better than anything else out there, but like I always really enjoyed playing it. It's probably like how I feel about HeroClix. I mean, I remember I look fondly back at HeroClix, how much fun I had with it. But then now I see people playing it, and I'm like, oh my god, that doesn't look like fun at all. I sit there and watch it, and so I think I had a more of a rose-colored remembrance, if you will, to the past. But it's. I don't know. I'm not gonna damn it, and I'm not going to condone it either. I need to play it again and play it with a person and not just myself.
Yeah.
To figure out what I think.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't matter what I think. So we'll go on to the next question. No, I thought about getting it to play with my son, but I just haven't done it because it looks like he would be something pretty simple, flipping the disc and all that.
Yeah. Yep.
Next question from Mr. Keith Collins. Lance, again. Now, what flavor sauce do you want to eat with your Lords of Waterdeep mandatory quest card?
You know what? It's the only time I'm ever going to eat a Lords of Waterdeep card in my life, so I'm not going to. I'm not going to have any seasoning. I'm gonna experience it straight. I might have to have a frosty beverage handy right afterwards, but. Yes, and I will consume it. I will chew it up and I will swallow it. And so if it kills me, you can all sue. My wife can sue.
Wizards of the Coast.
Wizards of the Coast. They got deep pockets. They'll give her a few grand to just walk away, right?
Yeah. Well, so just for people that don't know, because this happened back. Probably like on our third episode of the podcast, like the original.
Back when Marco was still cool enough to join us.
Who?
Yeah, Marco. Remember? Marco. Yeah. It was in the before time. Yeah,
before the BM, before Marco.
It's before Marco. Oh, that's nice, BM. I gotta go talk about a BM myself here, I think.
Okay, so anyway, Lance and I were going back and forth on Lords of Waterdeep. He hates it. I love it. And he was saying something about how there wasn't enough space on the board when you play 5 players or something. And then so I was like, no. And then he said, and then just off top of his head, he said, I will eat a card if I'm wrong. And this was just all like, off the top of our heads. So. And then he got the box out, counted all the spaces, did all the math in his head, and he's like, nope, you're right. And so now it's just been kind of a running thing off and on with like, when's Lance going to eat the card? So maybe we will do it maybe we'll record it or something at Gen Con in front of the Wizard of the Coast booth, or
Well,
I'm
yeah,
sure they'll love that.
I mean, seriously, we'll have to steal a card from a game and demo or something like that.
I'm
Like,
not
oh.
stealing nothing. I like Wizards of the Coast. I like Lords of Waterdeep.
Snores of water sleep. Yes, enjoy your game.
I will, thank you.
Yes.
Rodney's funny. Joel, I think you should pick up Discourse because I'd like your son's opinion on it. Your opinion is not required. All right. There's a question above that, though. Through the Ages, Civilization, the board game, Clash of Cultures, or Nations, if a Eurogamer is adding their first Civ game to their collections, which should it be and why? You want me to answer that?
Cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Out of those four, Clash of Cultures, because it's probably the most easily accessible game as far as the rules go. I mean, knowing nothing about that, who asked the question?
A drum fill 65. I don't know that I've.
Well, no. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not asking you for his life story. What I'm saying is that of those four, are they? Who knows if that person's into a huge, big, heavy, deep Euros?
Well, he said a Eurogamer. Then I would actually lean to Nations, even though I don't like it. I would say that's more Euro-y than any of the others.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I wonder if but see, there's so little go on. Okay, if they don't mind a game that's going to last 2-3 hours, then yeah, Nations definitely. Well, if
Clash of Cultures is 2-3 hours.
You know what? You can get Clash of Cultures down though. Nations. You can.
I agree.
Nations. I don't know. Clash of Cultures, in my opinion. Oh, the expansion for Clash of Cultures looks awesome. But
Yes.
But I mean, Through the Ages is a mind slog, and plus it's only really a 2-player game. And I was not a fan of the Fantasy Flight Civilization.
Sid Meier's?
No, I was not a fan of that.
The combat, I haven't played it with the expansion. I guess the expansion really fixes it. I've heard that online, and a guy I know that has both, has it in real life. He agrees. You definitely need the expansion if you're going to try that one. I thought it was okay, but the combat's really... I hate the combat, so there you go.
Yeah, I would pick up Nations. It's probably the most accessible game.
Yeah, it's not a Civ game though. It's a worker placement game. Anyway, that's my opinion. But
it's a worker placement game with a civilization theme.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like it at all, just so you know. But a lot of people disagree with me and think I'm stupid. So.
Fair enough.
So, yes. The next question is, I would say Clash of Cultures. Anyway, next question. Gamma Trade Show is next week. We should be getting some news from FFG, Upper Deck, Mayfair, Paizo, WinKids, AEG. Any predictions?
None.
FFG doesn't usually announce stuff at Gamma.
No, they don't.
Upper Deck probably will. Mayfair, I don't think they do. Paizo probably will.
Yeah.
Yep,
I actually have a couple of, and this is good for you kind of thing, like industry insiders that I kind of rely on to give me my information.
Spill it. Insider trading. Let's go.
No, I mean I haven't talked to the couple people that I know, so, and they're like important people in distribution channels kind of thing. Gotcha. So they kind of have more of a.
They get a heads up.
Yeah, they get a heads up because they have to make money basically, and so that's I kind of use that as my in, and I haven't really heard anything recently, and usually they're the first ones to let me know, so, which doesn't mean anything technically, but.
Yeah, and I would say WizKids will probably have something. AEG, I'm not super sure on. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe FFG is going to announce all kinds of stuff, but they usually wait for Gen Con and then they have their own. Geez, they almost got their own convention nowadays.
Yeah, totally.
Next question. We got about 10 minutes or
That's
so,
cool.
10, 15 minutes, and I got to get dinner rolling here. So we're going to catch up on all these questions. We have answered 0 questions from the backlog, so that's okay. Watch It Played. Oh, no, I already read that one. Okay, Joel, since everyone is targeting Lance, do you play any LCGs, Lord of the Rings Netrunner? I used to play Netrunner. I got rid of Netrunner. I have basically one friend that I played it with, and he plays it competitively. I think he still does. He might have tapered off, but he's got like everything for it. So if I'm going to play it, I'll just play with him, and he's got it. And it doesn't matter. I don't need to look at the deck. I'll just look through it before we play and stuff. Although I do want to try the Star Wars LCG because they've recently added like raid mode, where basically someone plays like an overseer or like a boss, and it's like 1-on-2 or 1-on-3. And the old World of Warcraft trading card game had that when it was with Upper Deck several years ago, and I really liked that format. It was really fun. And also, there's a new game which isn't out. It was on Kickstarter, and it's called Star Realms, and it kind of is an LCG format. No, it's not really, because it's a deck builder. But anyway, the main point is it has that sort of one versus many idea, where one person plays sort of like a big giant spaceship empire kind of thing, versus multiple players, and that's really fun. I did a review of it. It's called Star Realms. I think that's coming out in April though, in like the massive distribution. And then I used to play Warhammer Invasion, which is really good. A buddy of mine has that. He still has it. I haven't played that in some time. That's really good. That was a solid game. Other LCGs, I don't know. I don't think
Well,
I've played any
you
others.
missed the best one, Call of Cthulhu.
I never played that. I heard that one was really good.
It was that was. I'm so glad I finally sold all mine off, because when they went over to they switched up how the decks worked, and they had to go back and like get the old ones and everything like they switch out. I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna get out of this right now, and I like sold mine off and I got out. But I love Call of Cthulhu. I deeply enjoyed that game.
I've heard the Game of Thrones one isn't too bad either.
I've heard that too.
They just discontinued it, I think, though. Or
Oh,
something.
really?
I don't know. They discontinued one of those. Oh, Warhammer Invasion. They discontinued Warhammer Invasion. That's right.
I was gonna say Call of Cthulhu. And there's no way they're gonna discontinue Game of Thrones with the, gajillion of people that are just finding that now because of the TV show. So
Yeah. Um, or sort of a response. We had played Ticket to Ride Through the Ages, but with 2 players, it turns into a military smackdown. And it definitely can. I've had enjoyable games of Through the Ages, but like I probably played it 6 times or so, or in there. Well, probably more than that even. But I would say less than half of them have been fun. So it's kind of like Race for the Galaxy, but it takes a lot longer to play than Race for the Galaxy. I'd played Race for the Galaxy several times and kind of forced myself to like it. Now I actually do. I could see myself eventually liking that game, but
you know what is a good game, and I'm gonna plug it really quick here.
Yeah.
Is Wildcatters. Check that game out.
I want to try that.
That game is awesome. I got to do a review of that. But I need to play it at least one more time. Very, very good game of being an oil man, and it's almost got kind of a train game feel to it, with buying shares and things like that, and
Nice.
that is a great game. Check that out if you've never heard of it. I hadn't heard of it at all. I'm lucky enough that the publisher contacted me out of nowhere and asked me if I wanted to give it a try. I said yes, please, and so.
Sounds good. Next question. Does Yido improve anything for you guys versus Lord of Waterdeep? Would you play that, or would it be in the same snoring sub?
I would. I will play
like
Yido anytime anybody asks me.
Yeah, I don't like Yido.
Well, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I do not. To me, Yido's problem is there's way too much screwage in that game for the amount of planning you have to do.
More screwage.
And then somebody flips a quest on you and removes your worker, and you're like, oh, there's half the points in my entire game that I was going to score.
Well, be a better player, and you wouldn't have that problem.
I can't randomly know what his hidden quest does.
Find a way.
All right. Next, Bruno Cathala revealed a webcast last night that Effigy is the company that will reprint Mission Red Planet. Oh, that's cool. That is actually...
I have a copy of that on my shelf.
Cool. I don't like Citadels, and There's
How
another
do you
game.
not like Citadels?
That game is horrible. I hate that game.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, but he did that one, and then there's another game because this is kind of like Citadels. It basically is with a different,
Yeah.
you know. But this is probably my favorite out of that kind of genre of role selection and do stuff. I'm not a big fan of it though, because like the last third is kind of it gets real turn order wonkiness with the whole role selection. It has the same kind of issue as Citadels, but it's way cooler looking. I mean, the components and this Asmodee or whatever did the one that you have,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's
And
fun. I like it. It's okay.
Like 2 years ago, they were giving copies away online. And you could find that for $7 online anywhere you went.
Oh,
it was
wow.
just like, yeah, because it was just like,
steal.
yeah, I was. I mean, I don't even remember where I got my copy anymore. It probably was one of those throw-ins or something.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? As an aside here, totally, Bruno did Masquerade, and I didn't like that game much at all.
No, that game is not. I'm sorry, Bruno, if you ever see this, but
yeah, and it's just that pains me to say because like Faiduti is like one of my favorite designers, and I played that, and I played it at Gen Con that one time, and I was like, wow, this isn't really good. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I did it wrong or something like that. And so then and I played it again, and I was like, yeah, it was just for a deduction game, it was just, I don't know, it was like way too chaotic, and it seemed like the rules were just kind of, in a lot of ways, were kind of shoehorned in, like to prevent certain things, and I don't know, it was that looked like it felt like I've got a deduction game, and it's just like, well, you had a great deduction game, Bruno. It was called Citadels,
Yeah, right.
And that, so.
Yeah.
But there you go. But apparently I'm wrong because they completely sold out their print run of Masquerade. You can't find a copy in the wild anywhere right now. Yeah, like 20,000 copies sold, and they're going to reprint another, do another reprint of it.
Holy snafu, wow.
Yeah, so.
Oh, so Darth Ed says Star Realms is available again effective yesterday. And he said he added 2 copies to one of my orders. And that's a weird thing about this game. If you get 1 copy of the game, it's a 2-player game. If you get 2 copies, then you can play up to 4, and you can get 3, you can get up to 6. I only got 2 copies.
Where is this game? I haven't even heard of it. Where is he finding this game?
It says it's a cool stuff. That's Star Realms. It's by one of the designers of Ascension. Rob Doherty. He designed what's it called? Battle for Hill 218. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's a little 2-player card game thing. It's a crazy little game. But Star Realms, it's basically like if you took Ascension, at the core, it's sort of like Ascension, but with like PvP, and you basically try to kill each other and just shoot each other out of the sky, and it's pretty cool. I mean, it's really fun. I mean, I'm interested to see if they ever come out with any more expansions to kind of make the card abilities a little bit more, intricate. But yeah, I would get 2 copies because to me, if you just have the one game, it's 2-player and that's it. You can play co-op even with it, which is kind of neat. So you can set up like a little bit of an AI. It's got 2 bosses, I think, and then you just set it up, and then like it gives you a couple little. It's almost like Sentinels of the Multiverse that way. It's like you take your turns, and then you kind of read through this card. It's like this is what the boss does, and you flip over the top card of the deck. If it's this color, the boss does this ability, and then you just shuffle the cards around. Gotcha. Really cool. But you need the 2 copies to play the raid mode. I can't remember what they call it in there. That's easily my favorite way to play it.
I'll check it out.
Yeah. So it looks like our comments either froze or everybody left.
They all left. We're talking to me. Well, you're recording this, so it's for posterity.
Oh, that's fine. Oh no, I just refreshed. It seems like after a while the comments stop doing anything. There's a question here, and we're wrapping up. We've answered this question before, but actually we answered it earlier in this one. Your most anticipated game of 2014, I think both of us is probably the Marvel Dice Masters release right now.
Yeah.
Or something else, maybe.
Gosh. I'm interested. There's a couple of games coming out from Yellow that I'm interested in. That like Zombie 15 looks interesting.
Yeah, that looks cool.
and that Heroes of Normandy looks interesting
Mm-hmm.
from Yellow. Though they really disappointed me with Steam Park, so I don't know.
I still haven't tried that.
Uh, Man, I don't know. I mean, it's just like nobody like reveals what they're going to come up with anymore. Everybody plays it kind of tight-lipped, if you will, you know.
Yeah, there's plenty. In the last, if you go back to the Wooden Cubes and Iron Soldiers webcast number 1, which by the way, this will be archived later, and then if you're joining halfway or you're watching this later, it's archived on the web channel. Then I'll throw it up on the Wooden Cubes and Iron Soldiers podcast feed, so you can listen to it there. But the last one, we talked about a bunch of games from 2014. I just don't remember them at all.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of them.
My brain is fried.
I think we must have said Myth and Galaxy Defenders, which we've now played.
Some of us have played.
Yeah. Yep. I need to get Theseus played again. I need to review that. That's a pretty fun game.
Gosh, what is it? There was a game that's like, it was getting a reprint, and I was like excited to actually own a copy of it again. I don't know. You know, I've been thinking actually of like going back and doing reviews of like games that I played a lot before I actually started doing reviews. So like doing like, and I've been toying with the idea of like calling it like a dusting off the shelf review or something like that. Like taking down my copy of like Cuba or something. Like I was talking about that the other day, and like doing a review of that, since I haven't, for the like 7 people that want to know about it or something like that. You know, I played Imperial at Con of the North, and I hadn't played that in like 3 or 4 years, and I really enjoy that game. The really old same guy who did, I can't think of his name.
Mac Gertz.
There you go, Mac Gertz. Yeah. After I played Concordia and really enjoyed myself, I was like, oh, let's go back.
That's a good game too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went back and I played my copy of Antique, and then not the Antique Duelum, the actual like multiple player one.
Right.
And then I was like, and then somebody was setting up a game of Imperial, and I was like, hey, can I step in and play? And I have no idea what I'm doing in that game, but I always have fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my favorite from him, the old ones, is Navigador. But that's a good idea. I mean, that's once in a while I'll do that. I'll break out an old game, and review it just because. I mean, I still need to do a review of London and Steam and.
London, London's such a good game.
Yeah, I still got that one.
I love London.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't even reviewed Kalis or Power Grid, but like I'm almost every time I think about that, I'm like, what would be the point of that?
Well, yeah. Well, like I was at the convention. I played a game of Great Fire of London, and I like really I remember when first time I played that, I was like, man, this game is boring. This isn't any fun. And that was like we played this giant game of like a maximum player, like 6-player or 5-player game of Great Fire of London. And it took like 50 minutes. Everybody was just super fast making their decisions, and that was actually a really fun game. It was actually like a lot of fun. Just because I went into it with the attitude of I'm just gonna try to make the world burn. I just moved the fire around as much as I possibly could. Yeah. That's a really solid game, Great Fire of London. I like that game.
I haven't tried it.
You really should. Yeah, I mean, you track down a copy and play it. That's quality, in my opinion. But
all right.
Well, you got to go cook food, right?
Yeah. No, it's got to heat it up. It's not a huge rush. But we have one last question, then I'm cutting her off because it's related to our schedule. Do you think the webcast format will become the norm since you don't have a regular podcast schedule? And I think that's kind of my idea.
Well, as long as Joel doesn't get too cool for me and like cancel out on me like he did, because we were supposed to do this 2 weeks ago, but then all will be forgiven as long as you do that review while playing a guitar. Like, so everybody who's listening to this, Joel is an accomplished guitar player.
No, I'm not.
And I'm trying to get him to play his guitar while he does a review. I want a singing review from Joel.
No, I don't sing. I mean, I'm mediocre at best at guitar, and I'm. You hear this nasally northwestern voice here / California dude mixed in.
There you go.
That's not a good singing voice.
So Eddie Vedder is what you're trying to say.
Oh, yeah, I wish.
No, I'll tell you what. I can dig out my old trombone and I can play that on one of my reviews if you want.
I'd go for that.
How about if I dig out my trombone whenever I do a review of a game I don't like, I can do the sad trombone. So I have to give this one the Undead Viking.
That would be good. I'd pay for that. I'd pay money for that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, seriously, I think if we can do this every 2 weeks, that'd be awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
Schedule permitting.
Yeah.
Or not every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks, because you got your other. I'm not cool enough to be present for interview schedule that you have.
That's because that's just because I want to interview that person, and that's it.
Who's the next cool person on your list?
I guess big announcement. No, Jeff Gamble on the Longview.
Oh, very cool.
That podcast. So yeah.
Tell him I still owe him that Arkham Horror podcast that we never got around to doing.
You do owe him that. You should do that with him.
Well, it's one of those things we never put it together, and then I think he got pissed off because I never, like, he sent the last email and I totally forgot to send him back, and so he probably thinks I feel like I'm too cheese cat. Get out of here. So, but yeah, so there you go. Well, so tell him, give him my utmost apologies, and I'll have to do the Arkham Horror podcast with him. It'd be an interesting podcast to do now, since with the Eldritch Horror coming out.
It would be.
I dumped my girlfriend basically. So
yeah,
for the new hotness. So there you go.
I'll mention that to him. Man, he'll probably hit you up.
Very good. All right, Joel, brother. It's always. We never talked about wrestling. Dang it.
Good. Suck it, Stuart.
All right, take care, my friend.
Okay, everybody. Talk to you later. See you.
Yeah,
later.
thanks, everyone.